Hey guys, Puzzle Max here, and I have got a package from HK Now Store that I am very, very excited to open and get my hands on these puzzles. This is a new puzzle that was released back in 2018 by Mr. Sam Jang. I'm horrible with names, so pardon me if that's incorrect. But this was originally made 3D printed, and I saw it back then and fell in love with it and just had my fingers crossed ever since that they were going to mass produce it so that I'd be able to afford it. This is going to be an incredible challenge, and I'm guessing it's going to be very impressive to look at. This is the Sam Gear Orbit Cube, and yes, I bought two of them, mostly because if they're limited release, I'll be able to resell one, or I'm going to scramble one and the other will become my algorithm tester. So either way, both will be helpful. But let's go ahead and open one of these so I can get my hands on it and see how it moves, how it looks. The packaging was limited, but it made it here safely. I'm in the United States, but it got here safely, so I'm not too concerned about the limited packaging or anything like that. Got a few extra stickers in here for the inner parts, and I'm guessing that's probably the most likely place that the stickers are going to fail, so good for them for including some little helpful bits there. And let's see. This is obviously a 3x3 mod, but inside this works on a gear mechanism as well. So whenever you make a turn on any of these faces, these little tiny things here rotate as well as move. Kind of hard to see on just a single color face, so let's put that back and add another color just to see a little better glance of it. So if I move this blue up here, now you'll notice that when I rotate this, these are going to move around the face, but they're also going to rotate as well. And these two moved from here down to here and rotated so that they stayed in the same orientation. So that blue was changed orientation rather. They rotated a whole half turn, an entire half turn. So this blue that's on the right hand side of these two pieces is going to be on the left hand side of these two pieces once they get down here. The turning so far on just the few faces that I've attempted here is stiff because there's a lot going on, but I think as long as you're careful with the turns here, you're not going to have any problems. And it's just kind of it's not a speed solving puzzle, obviously. You're going to take your time with this one. I'm guessing that this thing is going to be very tough to figure out because there's so many different places that these can all go, and it's just, it looks amazing. It's very, very cool looking, and the centers here, this odd-shaped part here in the middle, doesn't actually function for anything. It's just a decor thing, and you can actually take this out and see the gear mechanism on the inside. I'm not too worried about seeing that. I'm guessing there's a screw in there as well for tensioning, but I don't really care that much. For me, I like the solid-ish colors going on here. And I'm guessing that the main thing about this is going to be solving it as a 3x3 first, and then figuring out a commutator to move these individual little pieces in either a 3-cycle or a 5-cycle, and maybe even a 7-cycle, it's hard to tell. But once you figure that out, then it's just going to be setup moves and doing that commutator to start getting these little tiny pieces back where they belong. There's a lot of them involved because there are 16 of these per face. I'm guessing that it's also going to include some kind of false equivocation parity, where this piece needs to be here, not here, and you're going to end up with what looks like two that need to swap, two different colors that need to swap, but in reality you have to involve a third one to make that last 3-cycle work. I'm ecstatic. I can't wait to play around with this puzzle and just start seeing how things kind of function and make an idea of where I can put things and move things. It's going to look amazing when it's fully scrambled, so let's do a few moves here and just start getting things mixed up some. Like I said, the turning is a bit stiff, but I kind of expected that because this isn't made for speed solving, and there's a lot going on under the shell here. I mean, there's gears turning and everything's kind of working together. I have seen on the 3D printed version that there can be some issues with misalignments where these little circles will make a partial turn and won't make it all the way around. And that partial turn is just a matter of kind of taking things apart a little bit, reassembling those inner circles, and then completing the turns. If that does become a factor, I'm not sure if there's also a parity involving if you put those centers back in the incorrect places. So that could become another issue down the road. Again, I'm not positive if that could be an issue. I don't have the amazing math skills that some of these other folks do, so I can't do the math problem and figure out if that's a potential issue. Even after doing some just polite scrambling turns here, it's already loosened up quite a bit on a few of these faces. So I'm guessing that after a good scramble and me saying some bad words while I attempt to solve it the first time, it's probably going to loosen up a little bit, but that's just going to mean that I'll have to be a little more cautious with some of the turns so that I don't misalign things or mess things up any. At this point already, I can tell you that I'm very glad I have a second one, because I'm just guessing that there's going to be a time at some point here where I'm going to need that blank solved puzzle in order to tell me if I'm doing a commutator or a 3-cycle correctly, or if I'm overlooking something. So it's going to be a really fun challenge to kind of figure out. It's kind of similar to some of the crazy super puzzles out there, but because of the gear system, this really is one of a kind. There's not any other puzzle out there that I can think of that works on this same concept and idea. It's amazing looking when it's scrambled, and next to the solved version, they both have just a great look. They're going to look great hanging out with some of my other crazy puzzles and just regular 3x3 mods. So I definitely approve of this. If you have had any thought of picking this up, go ahead and grab it, because it's going to be a new challenge. It's going to involve a lot of different thought that you haven't put into a puzzle before. And if nothing else, it's really, really cool looking. And even just after some short turns here and playing around with it a little bit, things have loosened up a bit. There's still some locking here and there, but again, I'm not going to be speed solving this, so I don't really care too much about the occasional lockup and stuff like that. So yeah, just out of the box, first impressions, really awesome puzzle, very well achieved, and I look forward to putting my brain to this and trying to figure out how to get it back to the solved state. So thanks for checking this out, folks, and as always, happy solving.